Hi friends, Mickey Mankis here, and welcome to Out the Back Door. I have been craving fermented beets. I've got pickled beets, but I want fermented beets, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I was able to source a nice supply of organic red beets from Azure Standard, and that's what I'm going to be using today. And to ferment them, all you need are the beets and salt. That's it. If you saw my video before of pickling beets and canning them, I did go through the process of boiling the beets to begin with to get the peels off really easy. Well, I'm not going to do that this time. They are a little bit dirty. I just want to make sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them over to the sink. I'm going to give them a good scrubbing, and then I'm going to start chopping them up and using my peel also. I'm going to show you something really quick here. My beets are sprouting leaves, so I think I'm going to go and cut the tops off, the ones that are sprouting, and I'm going to plant them. No, it isn't going to grow beets for me, but I'll get beet greens. Okay, one thing you want to make sure that you have when you're doing this is you've got a digital scale. I am not using volume measurements. I weigh everything by weight. That goes for the salt I'm weighing. I am going to be weighing the beets. If I don't have enough liquid at the end coming out of the beets, to cover them and everything, I will make a saline water and salt solution, a 2%, and I will put that in there also to bring the water level up over the beets. But for now, I want to measure my bowl, so when I put my beets in here, I'll know exactly how much the beets weigh, and I'm not including the weight of the bowl. I do everything in metric. I find that it's more accurate. I realize we're in the U.S., but I do metric measurements. I do by grams. All right, so right now my bowl weighs 324 grams. I'm going to mark that on a piece of paper. Now I can set that aside for now. Make sure you're wearing gloves if you're working with red beets. I've also got dark clothing on and my dark apron because beets do stain. Ooh, look at that beautiful color. I do have some, you see there's big gunchies in there and stuff like that. That doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that the beet's bad, but I'm going to slice that area out instead of try to peel around it. When I was a child, I did not care for beets. It was that was a grown-up food. That was a grandma and grandpa food. And now it's I love beets. That's what happens with age. Your taste buds kind of change. I'm just going to trim away some of the nasty spots. And I will leave a link below in the description box to the beets, and actually the salt also if you want. The container that I'm going to be fermenting in, I'll leave a link of that. I ordered that through Amazon. And I like it because it's a water lock crock, and I don't have to hold anything, I don't have to put anything in there to hold the food down underneath the liquid so that it doesn't get moldy or whatever. All right, so that's all I'm going to be doing right now is I cut both ends off, and I cleaned up any areas that I thought didn't look very nice. And now I'm just using my vegetable peeler, and I'm going to peel all these. And then I'll start chopping them up, and I'll show you. I've got all the beets peeled, and that actually went easier than I thought it was going to. And I'm going to just use this little piece right here as an example. Some people may shred theirs. I don't shred mine. I like mine diced up, and I like it small. So this is the size that I'm going to be fermenting. This is just a nice size. Then once they're done, and I get to scoop them out and eat them. Being that we're using salt, if you're on a low sodium diet, I am using such a small amount, it really shouldn't matter. I love the fermenting taste where it starts giving a tangy flavor. I had to change bowls because I had too many beets for that other bowl that I had. And I have weighed these out already. I subtracted the weight of the bowl because I re-weighed this bowl. The total between the bowl and the beets was 2,097 grams. And so if I subtract the bowl from that, I've got 1,691 grams in here. I use 2% salt to my food that I'm fermenting. And I figured that out already, and that comes to 33.8 grams. So that is what I'm going to be weighing out. I've got a small Pyrex dish here that I'm going to zero this out. Okay. And I am using sea salt. You don't want to use table salt with iodine in it. If I don't get enough juice, if the salt doesn't pull enough liquid out of the beets to put in the jar, then I am going to make a saline, a water salt solution in order to put in there to fill it up and cover everything. So right now what I'm going to do then is I'm just sprinkling the salt over the beets. And I'm going to start massaging that in until everything is coated well. I'm going to let this sit on the table for about 15 minutes, and then I'll check to see how much juice it's making. You're not going to be able to bruise the vegetable as much as if you would like cabbage, something that's softer. Now, had I grated this instead of dicing it up, because I fermented grated carrots, now that I can get the juice out a lot faster. I can actually feel my gloves really getting wet already. Okay, I let the beets sit for probably about 15 minutes or so. Another thing I want to mention, don't ever use anything aluminum, if I didn't say that earlier, when you are doing a ferment. This is a stainless steel bowl. Also, I'm concerned about, there is a fair amount of liquid in the bottom, but I didn't think there was going to be enough, so I went ahead and made a saline, water saline already. I think this is going to be kind of messy. I should have kept my cutting board down here. But anyway, I'm going to just drop all of my beets into my jar here. And like I said, I can see there is a fair amount of liquid in the bottom that the salt has been drawing out. Now you can use any type of a fermenting vessel that you want. You can also use, I've got like the glass pucks that you put inside of mason jars to hold your food down. I really, really like these water lock jars. I've had the best luck with them. I have not put anything in there to hold my food down underneath the liquid at all. Oh, I'm going to have lots of beets. I'm excited. The fermenting all depends on your temperature also. Optimal, you'd like it about 68 degrees or a little bit warmer, but you don't want it too warm. Let's see if we can do a balancing act here. Try to get all the juice in here. Still got a little bit more of the beets. I'll give them a good shake down. Normally when you're doing like a mason jar, you do want to leave some headspace. I'm going to clean up the outside of the jar here. Yeah, I told you, it gets messy. You may want to put like a plate underneath your vessel that you're fermenting in case it gets like really excited and ferments over. See, it only looks like my liquid's coming up to about here. So I don't even know if that 2 cups is going to make it or if I've got to make more. And the reason that I did a 2% is because that is what we are fermenting with in the vegetable, in the beets. It brought it right up to the top. I actually have a vegetable tamper for fermenting. Let me grab it. You can just get something simple like this. I've got one made out of acacia wood too. It's fancy schmancy, but this way I'm going to be able to get all of the beets submerged under the liquid. When I was talking about the temperature and the time that it's going to take to ferment, it can take anywhere from like 7 to 12 days, depending on your temperature. I'm going to put my cover on it. I do have a sticker on here that tells me the temperature of the vessel, of, you know, how warm or cool it's fermenting at. All right, and all I need to do is I'm going to pour the water over this. It's locking everything so the oxygen isn't going to get in there. At the same time, this vessel's created where the gases are heavy enough when they're coming up that they will burp up through the water. You'll hear the water burp, which is kind of funny because when I first started using this, I'm like, what was that? You hear bloop, bloop, bloop. Once this is done fermenting, what you can do is put it in the refrigerator then. It'll stop the fermenting process. You can leave it in the refrigerator for months. It'll be good. It's been 14 days since I started the ferment of the beets, and now they are ready. I have been checking them every single day, and I've noticed that the gas bubbles became less and less on the very top. And so that's where I knew that it was time to do this. Now, I've added water on top of the water lock a couple of times because it's been evaporating out. 2 days ago, I added a little bit more water on there because I did see more bubbles yet. So I thought I'm going to give it a day or two more to go. And now all of a sudden, I noticed that all the water has been sucked up underneath this cap here. I'm going to have to get rid of all that water. So I've got, you know, a little baster here that I'm going to put all the liquid into here. So let's see if I can get this off without making a mess. Oh, those look good. All right, now I usually do my sauerkraut in here also. Really turns out awesome. I'm going to transfer my beets into here, and then I'm going to store these in the refrigerator. I realize my jar has a large opening on it, but I'm still going to use a canning funnel. This is stainless steel. I wouldn't want to use anything as far as aluminum or whatnot. So anyway, I am going to, remember at the beginning of the video I told you how messy red beets are? And I've got a new shirt on, and let's see if I can avoid spilling. I have to try one. All right. Oh, these smell so good. It reminds me so much of pickled beets, but they're not pickled, they're fermented. So they're gut healthy for you. Don't criticize the way I hold my chopsticks. I know this isn't the right way, but this is the way I'm able to eat food. They have a wonderful crunch, slight sour flavor to it. Initially, I was thinking it was kind of salty. 2% salt is what I generally do most of my vegetables at. There's a book that I follow. I'll leave a link for it down below in the description box. Those are really good. They're perfect. They're ready to go. I need to go get a bigger container, and then I'll keep, be right back. I realized that I had too much of the liquid in here and more of the beet solids, so I ended up putting it all into a stainless steel bowl and mixed it all back together so I could get equal parts of liquid and the beets together in this jar and this jar. I think what I'm going to do is I've got a chiropractor appointment in a short bit today, and I bet they would enjoy one of these jars of fermented beets. So anyway, that is how I ferment beets. And look at the deep, dark, purpley red it is. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and share. Leave me comments if you have any. So anyway, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Anyway, just wanted to share because I was so excited. I was just craving. I was craving. I can't even talk. I'm so tired and my arm hurts and honestly I need some Tylenol. Okay.